Hi everyone, my name is Mark Moikins from Big Mountain Studio, and today we're going to continue on this series, and hopefully this will be the last video where we finally complete this mockup. So this mockup is from Dribbble.com, and Anton here created it. He works for InVision, and InVision, as some of you might know, they provide great tools for collaborating and sharing designs and getting approval from managers, designers, and it's a collaboration tool for the designers, the managers, the product owners, and the developers. So he made this incredibly cool mock-up, and so far we've implemented this floating action button down at the bottom with this menu, and we've got the background in there, and we got some icons on there, and we have this top portion of data that animates in from the sides. What we don't have yet, and this is the last part, is this table view right down here. So that's what we're going to add next. We're going to first create a class to hold that data, and then we're going to fetch that data and populate the table view and animate it coming in from the right hand side there. So that's what we're going to work on in this next video. This video and this whole series has been unscripted. I have not created this project before, and so you're actually seeing me code live. This is how I actually code. You're going to see me make mistakes. You're going to see me try things out and find solutions in real time. So if this video runs a little bit long, please watch it at 2x. That's how I watch most of my videos on YouTube. You can change the speed by clicking on that gear icon. Watch it at 2x, zip through it, and you'll learn how to do this stuff. Okay, so let's go back to our project, and let's see where we're at. Let's just run the project and see what we have so far and what we'll have left. Okay, project starts, and the data comes in from the sides. And then we have our floating action button on. When I click it, you see these icons here. They have a little bounce to it, and this icon right here does a rotation and turns darker. And when we click it again, it rotates back, and the color changes back to the way it was. Okay, good. So let's look at our storyboard here. All right, so there's our project. And our table view is here. Now remember, I think it was like in the first or second video, what we did is we changed this. So we uninstalled it. And I'm going to click it again to put the table view back, and there it is. And this just helps us when it's uninstalled. It just helps us be able to work on the storyboard without fear of screwing up the table view or anything else on the storyboard that could affect the table view. So we're going to put it back. And now we're going to format it the way that we see in the mock-up here. And what I'm going to do is I actually have an image of this. Let me just double click this and open it so we can constantly watch it without it going away and coming back. Okay, so there's no images on here except for this last one right here. And this looks like it's a scheduling application, so it has the time and it has some action that's going to happen. And it looks like sometimes the rows can have icons on them too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create 2 prototype cells, one that just has basic information like this, and then another one that can support images, these circular images. But before I'm going to do that, what I'm going to do is create a model or a class that can support all this data. So when we look at we want to find the cell that has, we want to find the cell that has the most data on it, and that will be our class. So we have a number, which is the time, and then we have an AM, PM, and then we have a title, a subtitle, and we probably need like an array of images, right? Because this could be one image, or it could be, looks like it could be multiple images, depending on how many people are in this meeting. So let's create that. Let's make sure we have that. Now, if you remember in the previous, earlier in this video, when I first created this project, I used one of my project templates, which came with a model inside of it already built for me. And this is what the default model looks like. So a lot of these things we already have. Actually, I think we only need to change one thing. So we have a title, we have a subtitle, and I just put these data 1 and data 2. These are just kind of like generic fields that I put in there. That could be anything. So I'm going to reuse these, and because this is a prototype, I'm not going to worry about getting my model set up and perfect like for a production type app. So I'm just going to reuse these data 1 and data 2. Like for example, this can hold the number for the time, and then the data 2 can be the AM or PM. So I have everything I need except for one thing. The UI image I need to make into an array because I want an array of pictures that I can use. Okay, and then that means we have to change all of these right here. All right, that should do it. Now something should break because in the data where I fetch this model, right here, we change the image so it's going to be an array. And so what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to put double brackets in there so it's be like I'm initializing an empty array. So here, this came with my project template. It's just a default setup of how to fetch data. And again, I explained this when we created this get day and weather, but this class, if it goes from prototype to an actual functioning application, what you'll want to do is replace this code with however you fetch your data. This is just kind of like a separation here that I'm doing between the controller and the data, because this data could be coming from database of some sort or data store of some sort. So you can replace it with anything. But for now, this is where we're actually going to create the data. So for the title, let's go with what Anton has here. He has finish home screen, and the subtitle will be web app, and that happens at 8 a.m. Web app. And so for data 1, we'll just use 8. And then for data 2, we'll use AM. And I think we got everything there. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to copy this. And then we'll finish the rest of them here. Then we have a lunch break and a design stand-up in Hangouts. Okay, for the lunch break, there was no subtitle. And I think the lunch break happened at 11 a.m. And then when is that meeting? Yeah, 11 a.m. And then 2 p.m. for the stand-up. Okay, so let's get 2. And this will be a p.m. All right, the one thing I'm missing for the for this one here, I want to get an array of images. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to create a function here called getImages. And it's not going to be anything fancy here. And it will return an array of UI images like that. And so what we need is images equals UI image. All right, now I want to get some pictures of people like he has here. I don't know where to get those. Maybe I can just, for this demo, I can just get them some pictures from the internet. So what I did last time is, one of the websites that I use is pexels.com, and these are totally best free stock photos. So you don't have to pay any royalties for these. So let's try looking for profile pictures. All right, yeah, we might be able to use some of these. Oh, this would be a great one. I love this photo. Okay, yeah, we'll use her. And what I'm going to do, when you download these photos, they are huge. They're such high quality. So what I'm going to do instead is I don't need high quality for this prototype. I'm just going to do a screenshot right on here. And this is going to be circular, so I have to account for that and make it big enough for a circle. I think this will work. Like put her face in the center is right about there. Yeah, that'll work. All right, let's go back. We'll get this guy. I think this should be okay. start over here. Hold on. Let me just move it up a little bit here. Right there. And we'll start down here. Yeah, there we go. That should be good. And let's go back and we'll get this guy's photo. And again, this is going to be circular, so let's try to get like enough of his face here in the circle. All right, that should do it. Okay, now these images, let's take a look here. Just look at my desktop. Screenshots. Okay, 748. Yeah, see, these are still big. So for this, let's resize these a little bit. And I'm going to, let's rename them too. So we'll just say profile 1. Profile 2. Profile 3. And normally with this other stuff, you know, like when I'm done creating a prototype, I usually delete all of these images because they're in my project, so I don't need them in 2 places. Okay, so we're going to open these up. And so let me just pull this down. You can't see the top of my screen, and I should have changed this when I set up the recording area. But what I'm going to do is click on Tools, and then Adjust Size. Then here, so okay, keep the aspect ratio. Ooh, I don't know, maybe like just 100 by 100 would be good. Yeah, we'll make the at least 100. Okay, good. Let's save that. And this is like if we view, click on View and go to Actual Size. That should be plenty big enough for, you know, for this small image right here. And we'll just do the same thing with the rest of these here. Adjust size. We'll make the largest number 100. Oops, this is the largest number right here. There we go. Save that. And we'll go here. Oh, well, I clicked on the wrong thing. Adjust size. There we go. And 100. There. Okay, let's save that. And on this one, we'll save this one too. Okay, so I think we're all set. Let's drag these photos into the asset folder, Xcode assets folder. All right. And for this purpose, you know, we're not getting these images from anywhere. We're just getting them right from within the project. So I could just say images.append. So when you have an array, you use the word, the function append to add new things to it. And I'm just going to start typing in profile. And what happens here is it shows us the pictures. And these are called image literals. So I'm not pulling them from a file, or I'm not creating a new UI image with the file name. I could just use an image literal and just get the actual file, the actual image right there. Okay, this is giving me a problem. What's it saying? Oh, change it to a var, yeah, because I'm adding to it. All right, good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy that, paste, 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 and change that to a 2. Whoops. I thought I could just change it right there, but it looks like it won't let me. All right, change this to a profile 3. Where's 3? There it is. All right, there you go. And again, I can't remember if I showed you the color literals or the image literals, but what you can do is you can just double click it and select which one you want to change it. If you want to know how color literals work, it would be sort of like the same thing where I could say let color equals, and what you have to do to prompt it, the color literal selector to come up, start typing in color, and you'll see this thing right here called color literal. Hit enter, and then you can select a color. If you don't like any of these, then you can just click Other, and it brings up the normal color picker. All right, let's delete that. We don't need that. Okay, good. So we have all of our data set, and right here. So our last model that we're adding right here, we'll get the images and send along the images. All right, that's done. Now let's go back to our storyboard, and let's create some prototype cells. We already have one prototype cell already selected, so that's good. We'll start with that. As you can see, and before what I was telling you was I was going to create two prototype cells. One that looks like these top two right here, and then I'll create another one that can allow images to be populated here. What else? Okay, these two right here, they look a little bit different. And you know what I might do? See, this title right here, it's kind of like aligned to the top of the cell, right? But this one is aligned in the center. So that, I'm trying to think of how to do that dynamically. Yeah, you know what I could do? Yeah, I got an idea. Okay, here, let me show you. All right, this is what I'm going to do. So we have our title. We don't need this image. Let's get rid of that right now. What we do need is, here's our data 1, data 2. That's going to be the time. So let's select these, and let me just check. Yeah, we'll make them white. White color. Okay, good. And then what we want is, this will be the time, so I'll go up here. Of course, this is going to have to be a lot bigger. Like that. And for here, I'm just going to put in like a fake time. I'll put in 7. And then you see here, see how, like, you can't see the number, and the size of the label is different than the content. So what I'm going to do here is hit Command equal. Whoops. Oh, I have to be in the storyboard. Okay, select the label, hit Command equal, and it resizes it to the number. And okay, I'm just going to line it to the top there. Actually, what I'm going to do is, let's do this. The biggest number is probably going to be a 12, so let's make sure a 12 fits in here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then I'll come here. Hit Command equal to resize it. Then I'll come here, drag this under here. We'll make this AM, like that. And let's center it. And we'll make that bigger too. Let's go with 16. Wait, let me take a look here. Maybe a little bit smaller. 14. This might be have a little bit more weight to it. But what I mean by weight is like boldness. So if I come here, I'm on regular right now. So let's change it to a medium. This is a heavier weight. Yeah, let's go with that right there. Okay, so we have AM. And this looks like it's right under there. Okay, good. It snaps right up under. I'm going to go with that for now. And then we have our title and subtitle. Okay, I think that's good. Let's try that. Maybe zoom in a little bit. Yeah, let me do a Command equal on that again. That is as far as it goes. Okay, it snaps to the top. And what size is this? This is 18. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest number. Okay. Yeah, let's try that for now. Just so I'm gonna make some room here. Just so this has room to grow, what I'm going to do is grab this and extend it all the way out to the side, snap it to that edge, and this label, yeah, there we go. I'll have this go all the way out to the side too. And let's just check the auto resizing on that. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to click this to make it extend all the way out to the end. And you can see the red part, if in this case, would be the label. So if I use it on a different size phone or iPad, it'll still extend all the way out to the side. Same here. I'm going to extend it out and then snap it to the edge there, to the margin. All right, good. So let's run this and just see what that looks like so far. I still need to fix this. I want the subtitle label to go to the bottom of the AM, I think. Oh, there's a problem here. This is the cell. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we deleted the cell image, right? So let's delete that, and let's delete this for now. We're not going to worry about the images showing up. Okay, this looks good. You can see there's some things that are off. We probably want the number to be centered. So just so that AM and PM is centered with the number. This other stuff looks good, but let's compare it. Let's take a look here. You know, actually, I think this is pretty close because, you know, the bottom of the web app doesn't align with the bottom of the AM/PM. So I think this is okay, the way we have it. Yeah, I just want to, it looks like we need more space. And also, okay, this is another detail I didn't notice before either. But look at the lines here. This line for the cell, the table view cell. It looks like it comes out even more, and it should line up with like under these labels right here. So let's fix that as well. Okay, so we need to center the number and indent the line more. Go back. Okay, so for this, I believe, yeah, these are like the same width, right? Let's see, this is 31, and that's 31. Okay, good. Now all I need to really do is just center this. All right, good. So that should be centered. Now let's fix the table view indentation here. Now I can't remember if I set it on the table level or the cell level. Let's look at the cell first. Indentation. Yeah, here it is right here. No, this isn't it. Separator, here we go. Custom insets. That's what we want right here. Okay, good. So let's guess here. Let's not guess, but let's take a look at this label. How far indented is that? We want to look at the X. So it starts 68 points in from this margin. So we're going to do the same thing with that separator. So let's go back to the cell. Let's go back to our separator, custom insets, and let's change that to 68. And let's run that and see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks better. Okay, let's double check it against our mockup. Yeah, that's good. We want to center this, and we could probably, it looks like it's indented more, right? It kind of like this 8 is lined up with this date up here. And yeah, so maybe we could probably indent this up here more and have this match it, indent this more. But you know, I think I'm just going to, I don't think you really have to, I don't think I really have to teach you about indenting, because you can do that by yourself if you want to indent it more. So what I'll do instead is I'll just indent this so there's more space after the 8 and this data over here. So I'll just add more space right here. And oh yeah, and then I'm going to do something about this alignment, vertical alignment. So maybe lunch break can come down a little bit more. But I need to experiment. So let's change this. Let's update this. And what I'm going to do is just kind of like eyeball it, like see how far. Let's go right there. Let's take a look here. Maybe just let's use 90. 90. And of course, if I'm changing those things, then I also want to change my inset, my content, my separator, custom inset there. Change that to 90 so it matches. And for this, yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Okay, now what are we going to do about these things right here? Well, one idea that I have is I think I'm going to put them in a stack view. And if there's no data here for the subtitle, I'm thinking this is the way it's going to work. I'm not certain. I'm going to experiment here. Oh, I pushed this off. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, hold on, let me just make sure this lines up here. Snaps to the side, and make sure this one snaps to the side right there. Okay, good. I'm going to highlight both of these, and I'm going to click on this button right here. And what this will do is this will embed them in a stack view, and all the alignment will all go off. So I don't know why I bothered aligning those labels over to the right edge over here. So for this, now here's my idea. This is what I'm thinking. And we could probably test this in the storyboard. I'm thinking if I uninstall this, no, it won't. Maybe it will. Let's try something else then. Okay, I'll click on this stack view, and let's actually use some constraints here. So if I take this constraint and I say align it vertically, and then we'll add that constraint. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I don't want it like that centered, so I'm going to move it up a little bit like that. Yeah, it looks good. I'm trying to just get the top of the T to look like to line up with the top of the 12. And then what I'm going to do to correct this is I'm just going to come here and say update constraint constants. And what that will do is, you see, it's like now it's telling me it's negative 7.8 off, but if I update constraint constants, it'll correct it for me. Okay, and then I'll need some more constraints because it doesn't know how far in now I need to set this. So let's go here and tell it needs to go 38 in, or 38 in from, and I think it's using this is what bugs me. What it's doing is spacing to the nearest neighbor, and it's recognizing that this label is the nearest neighbor. I actually want to align it to the margin here. So instead of, I can't use this. I don't know any way to get around that. So instead what I'm going to do is I'll select the stack view, and then I'm going to right click to right here, the custom cell, and then insert a leading space to table view cell instead of to that label. And will I need anything else? So centered, that might be all I need. Yeah, that looks like it fixed it. And this, I believe this will just dynamically expand. And let's test that right here. So if I add more here, yeah, it will push it out. Okay, good. But, see, here's the problem. If it's too long, it'll push it right off the screen. So I do need to add a constraint to this stack view on the other side so it doesn't go over the margin. And what I'm going to do here is I'll keep it to the constraint to margins and just leave that as 0. Now, if I didn't do that, if I uncheck that, what I'll want to do is use a 20 for the margin. So let's add that, and it pulls it out, and it's never going to go past here. If it does, what will happen is it'll put in the ellipsis if it's too long. More and more and more. Yeah, like that. Okay, that's good. I think that's what we want. Now let's test something. If I uninstall this again, see, what I want to do is when I uninstall this, I want this label to drop down and be more centered. Yes, that's exactly what I want right there. And that's what I'm going to do in code. I'll check to see if we have data for the label. And if we don't, then I'll hide it. Guys, I'm just thinking, I don't think I can change this installed property at runtime. Maybe I'll have to. Maybe hidden will work. Hidden doesn't work on the storyboard. If I click hidden, it'll just keep staying there. But I think we can do that in code, though. All right, let's get started. Let's change this and just hurry up and do it and see if it'll work or not. Now, I believe if we go to this custom cell here, let's go to automatic. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go manual and find my custom cell. Oh, it's I consider it a view. Right here, table view cell. So this is the code behind, or sort of like the cells view controller. And this is what we changed this before. Basically what we did is we took out the image from here, but here are all the outlets for the cell. And what I do, this is what I like to do. Some people, what they do is they populate the cell in the cell for row at function. But what I like to do instead is I like to pass in the model and let the cell sort out everything. And that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm passing in the model, and I'm just grabbing all the data from the model and populating it. So, and this is where the function, so since I have all the data here, this is where the functionality will be, whether to show that subtitle label or not. So let's write that code real quick. If model subtitle, yeah, if it equals, is there a trim function? I keep forgetting if there is or not. Trimming characters in character set. Because if there's spaces, I want to take those spaces out. Returns a new string made by removing both ends of the string characters contained in the given character set. Okay, so can I just do that? Yeah, let's try it. So I'm live coding here, guys. This is how I actually code. Oh, so okay, so that's if it's empty. No, it doesn't like that. Replace with. Okay, yeah, that's easier. No, it doesn't like that either, though. Cannot convert type string to expect our character set. Okay, so maybe I need to create like a character set. So this is what I'm afraid of. Like, it takes too long. It's like, how do you make a character set? I don't know how to make a character set. But let's take a look here. Character set represents a set of Unicode compliant characters. Using group. So let's look it up here. Let's actually look at this function. I'm going to hold down Command and click it. It doesn't know it. Sometimes this is another thing I don't like about Xcode. If there's an error on that line, and you try to, like, you can no longer navigate to that function. Like I almost have to, I think I have to do like this. Nah, still doesn't like it, because then it has the if. All right, let's just look it up in the browser. Trimming characters. There we go. All right, this guy's asking a question. How do I do this? How do you use this? Yes, this is what I want to know. Okay. String by trimming characters in set. So you have to create an NS character set, white space, and new line character set. Trim all the white space. That's exactly what we need. Okay, and here it is in 3.0. This is perfect. This is exactly what we need, guys, right here. So let's just get this last part here. There's another guy I noticed down here. There's also white space and new line character set. Okay, yeah, we don't need that. We just need the white space. Let's go back on this one. Actually, yeah, let's just get the code here. Go full code view. Character set, white spaces, and new lines. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so if after I trim everything and there's no space in between, it's just an empty string, then that's when I want to remove it. So let's try this. We'll do subtitle label dot is hidden equals true. Else, now, these cells can get reused. So what I like to do, just to be safe, because I don't know if this actually matters or not, but what I'm going to do is show it again. Is hidden equals false. And then we'll give it a the value. All right, so let's try that. That worked. Okay, because remember these labels right here, they usually line up with the top of the numbers, but here I took it out and now it's kind of centered right on there. Okay, so that's awesome. That worked. That saves us some time there. And actually, let's just go to the picture. So here, see, it looks like it's more centered. So what we need to do is we need to take our prototype cell and make it not so tall as it is right now. So let's go back there. Let's navigate backwards a little bit. And see, this is kind of hard to see, but the prototype cell itself doesn't start up here. Just temporarily. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the content. Yeah, here we go. Here you can see how big it is. And let me just change the background color real quick, just so I can see it more clearly, like how big it is. And that, what do you think, 70? Yeah, looks good. So remember, I have the offset on the vertical positioning here. Let me just pick that stack view here. So what I think I need to do is reset that. So let's remove that constraint and re-add it right here. Delete that. And I'll reposition this. Yeah, I guess centered is fine. That should be good right there. And so I'm going to vertically center it. All right, that looks good. Now, what is next? Okay, we need to create another prototype cell for the images, right? Okay, so let's collapse this. We have our table view cell right here. This is another weird thing too I noticed about Xcode. Watch what happens here. Okay, so let's go to the table view and let's add another prototype cell and watch what happens. Keep watching down here. So when you add another prototype cell, it copies the previous one. I don't know why it does that. Maybe because they believe it's useful, or maybe that's just they know you're going to take the existing one. They're trying to help you save some time here. All right, well, I'll take it because it actually is useful in this case. We just need to add some images down here. So let's click on this cell. We need to make this a little bit bigger. What do you think? Maybe like that big? And this thing is, of course, is always centering it vertically. So what we need to do here is, let's offset that. We need to add that offset again. Selecting stack views is the hardest thing in the world. So what I'm going to do is, on my mouse trackpad, it has like a 2-stage click or a force click, and it brings this menu up. But I believe to bring that up too, if you don't have that special trackpad, you can hold down Control, I think, or Control Shift and click. Yeah, Control Shift and click. There you go. And so what I'm going to do is offset this. Now I'm just going to kind of bring it up so the top of the letters align with the numbers again. Oh, too far. Yeah, maybe about there. I think that looks good. And I'll just come down here and say update constraint constants, and it'll fix everything for me. Okay, now it's complaining about something else. It might be because the prototype cells need their own unique identifiers. So here, for the first one, it said table view cell, and here I'll say table view cell with images. And is that going to make it go away? Yeah, it will. Okay, good. Now for images, let's see something here. Do I have them in here? Yeah. See, even the 100 by 100 is too big. That's okay. We'll just scale it down. Yeah, let's line these up and just kind of get the positioning correct. So what I'm going to do here is, I think I have a designable for images where I can make them round. So what I'll do, yeah, I see a UI image view. X. So let's try this. Oh, that's with the mask. We don't need a mask. Yeah, here we go. We got border, corner radius. All right, so let's figure out what size this should be. That looks like it's too big still. Let's go back here. 40 by 40, maybe 35 by 35. Okay, let's pretend that the bottom of the cell is right here. So we'll pretend that the images actually are resting on the bottom. So we need some space below this. So if we put this here, does that look about right? Let's see. How tall is this? 100. Yeah, let's stick with that. Okay, good. So for these images, right now, I think it looks like the content mode is centered. So let's change that to aspect fill. And are there borders? Oh, I can't tell. Maybe there's like a light gray border. Let's just give it a light gray border. Give it 1, give it a light gray. And then, so what do we make this? Let's make it 36 by 36. Then that way, I can just make it the corner radius 18. Right here. Okay. So there's our image. And we will have 3 of these. Like that. And one other thing before I forget is we need to come to this content and change that back to clear. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the picture because we'll be setting those. Now here's the tricky thing, is how do we populate something, the images, because there could be like no images or many images, right? So how do we populate that? Well, to be honest, I don't know offhand of a good way to do this, except for just adding it right off the, we could do like a collection view, I guess, but I'm not going to get into that and bind the collection view to an array. That way, if there's more people, I guess you could slide it back and forth. But that's not too intuitive, because you can also slide, there's also the functionality where you could slide cells to open up more actions to perform on them. So instead, what I'm going to do is maybe there'll be rules, right? Where if there's you can't have more than 7 people, when you create these meetings, or it only shows the first 7 people. So let's just assume that there's a business rule there that says, there can't be more than 7 people, or if there are more than 7 people, we only show the first 7. Let's just assume that that's a business rule, just for the purposes of this mockup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these guys in a stack view. Whoa. Here, before I do that, let me undo this. And I am going to, if you put it in a stack view and you want to preserve the size, what I do, I don't know if there's a better way, but what I do is I have to add a height and width constraint to them. And then once those are on, then I can add it to a stack view. Like that. And it won't complain. There is it does give you a warning when you have stack views like this. Like, look at this red arrow over here, and it says these guys need constraints. I don't know why it does that, but what I do is these are kind of like optional, like they're not serious errors. So what I do is I come to the size inspector, and I come down here, and see this ambiguity. This is the type of error that it's giving us. And it says, right now it's on always verify. Now I'm going to change that to never verify, and then those errors go away. Okay, so we have that set up, but what I need to do is I need to be able to add to that collection view, or yeah, I just need to be able to add to it. So I was thinking, I'm like, I need to add or remove from it. I'm like, no, I'm just going to be adding to it. So what we need is we'll need an outlet for it. So let's create an outlet for that collection view. And I'm saying collection view, I mean stack view. Okay, let's go here. Let's grab that stack view right there, and I'm going to put it right here. And we'll just call this profile image stack view. All right. And so again, you know, the functionality, like the cell itself, this cell is responsible for updating itself and how it looks. So what we can do here is we'll just check the model if there's images. What did I call them? You know what? Here, let's go to full view here. There we go. Yeah, image. I should rename that to images. Let me just do that real quick. If it's a collection, or you know, if it's an array of things, then it's good to have an S on the end of it. That's like a kind of like a convention. So instead of image, we'll say images. We'll call it images here. We'll change it here and here. And when I add to it, we'll have to change it here too. Xcode doesn't have the best refactoring tools, or else this would be a lot easier. A lot of development environments, I could have renamed this in one place and it would change it all through the application. Okay, it says there's a problem, but I don't think there really is. Yeah, okay, so it just went away. Okay, so let's go back. Go back one more. And we have images. Okay, here we go. So if the count of this images is greater than 0, then we'll need like a for loop to add it to the stack view. Okay, so for image in model.images. Why? That should be an S, right? Let me just build this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it works. All right. So we want to add this to our profile image stack view. And okay, there it is. I was going to say, I don't remember what it was. You know what though? I'm just thinking. I think there's another one where you can add a collection of views at one time. No, we can't use it because, you know, we just have images. We don't actually have UI image views. So you see this property right here? It takes a UI view or something that derives from UI view. So I think we can use this, but we'll just have to create a new UI image view. We need a frame and an image. Okay, we're going to have to back up a little bit. Because remember, when we create this image view, we got to set the size, which we said was 36 by 36. So let's back up here. And let's just create our UI image view here. Let image view equals new UI image view, and see, it'd be cool if we had a initializer that combined both of these at the same time. We could actually create it. Do you guys want to create it? You want to create it real quick? Okay. It's not going to be long. It'll get too detailed. Okay, we'll just use what we have before I get too off track here. Okay, we're going to create a new rect, and I just like to use these round numbers. X and Y position will be 0, We're not going to, you know, offset it or indent it from the top and bottom. The size, of course, we want 36 by 36, like that, and that should do it. And then we also want to give it set the image. So image view dot image equals image. There we go. And then we just take that image view and stick it right here. All right, that should do it. Okay, there's one more thing we need to check too, and that is, how do we know which prototype cell to use? Well, let's go to the view controller. And let's look at our table view function right here. Cell for row at. So here I'm dequeuing our table view cell. But now we have a table view cell with images. I think that's what it's called. So what we'll have to do before we do this is we need to grab the model and see if there are images in there. So what I'll do is create a variable for that. Because I can just call it model equals, that's our model that we're going to get out of our array there. And we'll say if model dot images dot count is greater than 0, then we know that's when we need the other table view cell. Else we'll use this one. And you see this cell here. Let's do this. Let's actually let's delete that. This is what I like to do sometimes. Before I try to think too far ahead in the future of like how I can reuse things and refactor things, what I like to do is do the simplest to get it to work first. Just do the simplest thing to get it to work. And that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to do something similar like this. And this is just my process. You know, the way you guys work might be different, but I'm just showing you like how I do it. I like to do it like this. Okay, table view with cell. Okay, now here's an interesting thing. I have two prototype cells, but they're both using the same backing class. Is that possible? Can I do that? Yeah, you can. You can have many prototype cells that all are of the same type of table view cell. So, you know, if you come to the storyboard and let's go over here. Let's go to the identity inspector. If you click on here, this is where I had set the class to tell it what its backing class is, the custom class for it, table view cell. And that's the same with this one. So when I created another prototype cell, it copied this class with it. And that's perfectly valid. You can do that because this class has a property for the images that we're using or will use. And it doesn't matter if it has images or doesn't have images. I think that's okay. Because I'm just thinking right now, if I use that, because all right, here, we're going to experiment together. The only thing that concerns me is I have this property right here, this outlet for the stack view, but this outlet will not exist on the other table view cell, right? So that might cause me a problem. If it does, we'll just create another table view cell. But let's try it out. Let's test it. We're both going to learn something together. Okay. Let me double check this identifier too. Make sure that is the one we want. I'm just going to copy it just to be certain. Then I'll paste it in here. Okay, that seems like the safest thing to do. Okay, so I'm going to dequeue it, and I'll dequeue a table view cell with images. And the reason why I even have to cast it in the first place is because if I don't cast it, well, it doesn't know that it has a setup function. And then we pass in the data. It's going to add those images to the stack view, and then it's going to return the cell. Let's try this. Let's make sure this works. Yeah, it does work. But notice something looks kind of funny here, right? So it's using the same height for the cells here. They're all the same height. And this is another one of those gray areas that I'm not 100% certain on. So notice I don't have a function in here that tells me which height I should use depending on like a certain condition. Instead, all I have is in my storyboard, if you click on each cell and go to the size inspector, I just have this right here. So I have a 70 here and a 100 here, but it looks like it's making them all 70. So this height, you know, it's good to set on the storyboard, but it doesn't get enforced when it actually comes time to render. And what you can do is you need a table view function for that. Before we do that though, there's one thing I want to handle before we handle the heights. So now if you look at this is working fine, right? We saw images on there. Okay, everything's perfect. But you know, we have duplicate code. And so when you have duplicate code, that's usually what's called a code smell. Something smells wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that out and we're going to reuse this duplicate code. And then like this. So then what we want to do is we don't want to declare this variable called cell inside the if statement. We're going to declare it outside the if statement, and it's going to be a var now because it's going to change. And it's a table view cell. And it will certainly have a value. Let's see, what's it complaining? Oh, no, you know what it is? It's not a UITableView cell. It is this kind of cell. Okay, good. So if it is this type of cell, you know, I don't even think I need to cast the type now. I don't think I need to cast it as that type. Yeah, it doesn't like it. Okay, never mind. It's just a thought. Okay. All right, let's leave it like that. All right, everything looks good for there. Now, the next thing we need to do is adjust the height of the individual cell, of the prototype cells, right? Okay. Now, in order to do that, I don't believe that is a UITableView data source function. To double check, I'm going to hold down Command. I'm going to go in here and take a look. So these are all the functions that are available for me in the UITableView data source. So let's see, we got number of rows, cell for row at, we're already using that. Number of sections, that defaults to 1, so we don't have to implement it because there is only one. Okay, we have title for header, footer, can edit row, can move row. We're not doing any of those things. This is the index section, section index. No, I don't need any of that. The index, by the way, is, you know, in your address book, how on the you had those vertical letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you can kind of like slide your finger up and down on those. That's the index, table view index. Okay, it isn't in here. So is my delegate functions in here? Yeah, here we go. So if you look up here, wow, there's a bunch of them here. No, that's the UITableView. All right. So instead of this data source, what we need instead is a delegate, UITableView delegate. So I'm going to create another extension. And again, I like using extensions just because it organizes everything better, and you know it's more clear like what functions belong to what protocol. Okay, table view delegate right there. All right, now if I just start typing in table view, what I'm looking for is the height of the row. Can edit, can focus. Hey, and if you guys know a faster way to find your function, like a way to type it or search for it, please let me know. I don't know how to do this, how to find it more quickly, but I would love to learn. So if you guys know, please leave me a comment below. Okay, this is what we want right here. Height for row at. And this will basically just return what height we're supposed to use for that cell. And it returns a CG float. Okay, that's fine. And basically what we're going to do is the same thing. All we need to do is look at the count of the images. So let's copy this right here. Because you see, we do have access to the index path we're on. And then we can just use this same if statement. Okay, so if we do have images, we want to return 100, right? Otherwise, if we don't, we're just going to return 70. So what I do here, how come I didn't use an else statement? Well, you don't really need one, because it's going to exit early right here if there's images. And if there isn't, it'll just come down here and return 70. So you don't really need an else in this case. I guess, I could do the same thing right here too, right? It's either going to set the cell. Oh, no, I can't do that because we don't return it. It would just set it twice. Okay, but here, when you have a return statement, you don't need the else part. So I'm going to leave it like that. All right, let's test this and see how it looks. It still didn't work. The table view goes all the way down, right? Okay, let's start setting some breakpoints. Let's look at something else too. No, I am reloading it. Okay. So it should. Okay, I'm going to set a breakpoint here and take a look. We know this is working, but this. Oh, I know why. Okay. Yeah, I never set this class, this view controller. I never set it to be the delegate for the UITableView. So what I need to do is come up here, and I like to keep them together, like right here. So I'll say TableView. That's wrong. Variable. TableView.delegate equals self. So basically, what that's saying is this table view control that I have on my storyboard, it needs to know where to get the code to run some of its functions. And that's basically what I'm saying. I'm saying, hey, this class right here is qualified to give you code to run any of your delegate functions. And if it doesn't find any of the functions that it needs in this class, it just uses its own. But if it has my class and it sees that I provided functionality for it, in this case, I provided the height for row at, then it says, oh, you know what? This class that was assigned to me has this function, so I'm going to run their code instead. I have a video that describes the delegate pattern, and it'll make this concept crystal clear by the time you're done watching it. Hey, there we go. All right, nice. All right, guys, this looks awesome. Well, that doesn't look too awesome. So we got to not select it. And the only thing we need to do now, well, besides not selecting it, is to deselect it, is we need to animate them coming in from the right. So let's do those two things, and I think we'll be golden from there. We can end this video. Okay, let's deselect it. And this is another thing too, guys. If you know of a super simple way to prevent this deselecting, let me know. You know what we could do? See, I just assume that when you click on a cell, we want it to go somewhere or do something. But in the mockup, there's no what's called a disclosure accessory. It's that little kind of like arrow. And that gives a visual cue to the user that, hey, if you click on this, you can go do something. But we don't have that here. So let's keep this simple. Let's just say that users can't select the cells. All right, I'm just going to the storyboard, go on the table view, and there's a property here. Where is it? Selection right here. We'll say no selection. Okay. All right, last thing is now we just want to animate those rows. So let's handle that. Oh, let me see something too. Let's run this again. Just want to make sure the images were showing up correctly. If it wasn't using these images. It is using those images. So we need to fix that. All right, let's do that. First of all, what we can do is we don't. Yeah, let's just delete that. Delete that. And let's go into our code for the cell. And let's just take another look at it here. So, okay, so if the image has images, if it's greater than 0, and for each image, I want to create a UI image view, add arrange subview. That should work. And you can see the description up here. Adds a view to the end of the arranged subviews array, which is basically the content in your stack view. Arrange subviews array. Array is subset of subviews. Okay, let's just set a breakpoint. Now, what should happen when I run this is we'll hit this breakpoint once, and there'll be no images. We'll hit it again, there'll be no images. And the third time we hit it, there should be images. So let's just double check that. All right, so the first time shouldn't be any images. Model.images. Can I hover over this? Sometimes you can hover over and get the value, and sometimes you can't. Let's just go in here. Images, 0 values. Okay, so let's run it. Second time, images, 0 values. Third time, okay, 3 values. Okay, so that's so far so good. So we go through them, created this image that looks like it has a value. This right here is it's a pointer in memory to where your image actually is. And then we create an image view. It has a width and a height. Okay. And we assign the image. And we add it to the stack view. Let me check this stack view here. Is there a way I can see how many things are in there? 2 elements. I don't know if that's it or not. I don't know. Okay, let me just double check this. I'm going to hold down Command and go in there. And let's just read a little bit about this. Okay, add a view to the end of the arranged subviews list. Maintains the rule that the arranged subviews list is a subset of the subviews list by adding the view as a subview of the receiver if necessary. You guys might hear this word receiver a lot. I was really confused when I first started programming in iOS because what I didn't know is this is more like an Objective-C term. It came from Objective-C, which I'm not familiar with hardly at all. Receiver is basically an instance of the class that they're talking about. Not the class itself, but an instance of it. So they're talking about the subview of the receiver. Does not affect the subview ordering. A view is already a subview of the receiver. Okay. Okay, so this is what we want to check right here. Adds views as subviews to the receiver. Oh, that's if we initialize it. We can initialize it by passing in an array of our images, but we already have an image view, so we're not initializing it. Okay, let me check this arrange subviews right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say print object and look at our stack view, profile image stack view, yeah. And so it looks like there's an arranged image, arranged subviews. Yeah, this is it. And then so if it's an array, it should be a count property, right? 2. Okay, that seems fine because actually I don't know. Let me check. Yeah, okay, 2 is fine because I already have one in there, so it should add it like right here. Okay. And so let's continue. And it doesn't. Why can't we see that other one? We gave it a height and a width. And I don't know. It should just expand out. All right, let's check something else. Let's give this constraints because maybe because there's no constraints on it, it just has these constraints. There's no width on it, so maybe it's constraining it to not expand when I add more things to it. But let's just give some constraints just to see if that is the problem. So what I'll do here is, okay, 90 from the side, 1. Let's make it 1 from the bottom. And here we'll make it 20 from the side. And that should stretch it out. I don't think I need a height. I'll give it a height anyway, though. Okay, and I definitely need to change this. So instead of distribution, we'll say equal spacing. No. Usually I have to fiddle with these a little bit. Center. Yeah, let's stick with center here. Oops. Center. Equal centering. No, it doesn't work. Ah, man, this is what a pain. All right, let me just run it and see if that even fixes it. If we can see profile images being added to it. Oh, it hits our breakpoint. Okay, so let's just go in here real quick. And so added 1 image, 2 images, and that should be the 3rd image that it adds. Go out 1 more. If we just double check, I'm going to hit arrow up to show my last command that I typed in. Hit enter. 4. That is right. 4 images in there. Okay. Oh, okay, there it is. That was the problem then. I think it was the constraints that were holding it shut. So when I added these other ones, it was just covering it up for like right here. And the rest of the images were out here, but it set constraints. So this is what we're looking at right here is a problem that it could be like an auto resizing problem. Auto resizing, usually what it does is it adds the constraints at runtime. So let's see if we can fix it with auto resizing. Now you see another problem here too is when I created this this image view, I'm not using my custom class. So I could use my custom class and set these the border color and the corner radius. Or I don't need to use my custom class at all, and I could just set those properties on the UI image view instead, which I think is what I'm going to do. So let's do that now before I forget. So image view, and when you set these properties, these are actually on the layer. So let's go to border color. Okay, that came up first. We'll set that to was it light gray? Where's the IntelliSense? UI color dot light gray right there. And I think we have to make it a CG color. Let's see if it complains. Yeah, okay. Because I think that this border color is actually a CG color. And you can check that just by holding down Option and clicking on that. Yeah, it says right there, CG color. Okay, and then we need to set the border width. Image view dot layer dot border width. I think we just had it as 1. Yeah, it wasn't 2. And then what else we need? Corner radius. Okay, image view dot layer dot corner radius equals 18 So for a perfect circle, you just have to do half of the width or the height. All right, that's fine. That should fix that. And now let's try to fix the stretching problem that we have right here. Okay, let's remove the constraints. And I want to use this one up here. If I use this one, it's going to remove the constraints from the whole table view cell, like it says right here, instead of just the selected view. Okay, it goes back to the way it was. And let's try this. I'm going to go over to the auto resizing and let's try clicking on. Oh, I can't. I don't think this will work either, because I think it'll add a constraint right here that'll just basically have to keep the same problem that we had before. Okay, I'm out of ideas. I don't know how to fix this. Let's just run it one more time to check to see if what's happening here, if it's still happening. And then we'll check our handy Stack Overflow to see if they have any answers. Yeah. Okay. Let me look at one more thing here. I don't think that will fix it. What I want to do is there's a property where it says if you're using auto resizing, convert them to constraints. I'm wondering if I can turn that off. No. Okay, let me try one more thing. I'm just going to put that back just in case we need it for something. In my table view cell, if I come in here, then profile review dot. And what is that? Translate auto resizing mask into constraints. That happens automatically. And it's like what I said before, so when you set the auto resizing at runtime, it converts them into constraints. So let's change that to false. I don't really know what's going to happen here, if this will work or not. What I imagine might happen, because I turned this off, is it's going to put the stack view up in the upper left-hand corner because there's no constraints on it now. But let's just see if the images actually get added. Oh, look at that. We got our images, but it's in the upper. Like I said, this is exactly what I was afraid of. It puts them up in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, but you know what? This actually gives me an idea. Remember when we added this image, we had to give it an actual constraint. We had to say this is going to be, we had to give it a height and width constraint, but we didn't do that in our code. So I think that's what we have to do. I think we actually have to give the height and width constraints in the code. So let's do that. And this is something I always forget how to do, so I'm going to have to look it up. Okay. Adding constraints programmatically. This is the way I skip down to the answer here. So this guy, I've actually seen this post before. He gives like 10 different ways on how to set constraints in code. It's awesome. This looks like it might be the easiest right here. And then it looks like so off the object, I just say width anchor dot constraint is equal to, and I'll say 36 and 36 for the height and width. And then you have to activate them. And I think you can also do activate like on the end. You can say dot activate. Like I think he did that in some of these up here. Yeah, with the activate. Now he does them manually. All right, let's take a look. I want to go with this one because it looks like the simplest one right here. So we have width anchor and height anchor. Dot constraint equal to. Image view height anchor equal to constraint is equal to this one right here. I think that's it. So 36. And we'll do it right here. Image view width anchor dot constraint equal to 36. Oh, and then we have to activate it. No, I was wrong. Okay, so we have to, what was that code again? NS layout constraint dot activate. NS layout. There it is. Activate constraints. And it looks like it's just an array. So let's stick these in here. Oh, I didn't create variables for them. Okay, let's double check that code one last time. That looks good. Let's try that, guys. No, why? Oh my God, guys. This might be where I quit. All right, you know what I'm going to do just to end this video? This video has been going on for a long time. And I think what we'll do is we'll assume, I'll have to figure this out later because I don't know how long it will take me to figure this out. Basically, I'm going to be doing a lot of research and I don't want to waste your guys' time like that. So what I'm going to do instead is we'll go with the assumption that we can only have so many people. And so I'll just add some images and then hide them and show them if we don't need them. Okay. So oh, you guys don't know how much this is driving me crazy. I hate stuff like this. I just want it to work. You know, all right, hold on. I'm just going to look up one last thing. Adding, we'll just say, we'll say images. Okay, when I deploy, there's only one view, and he's adding a couple of them. Stack views use intrinsic content size, so use layout constraints to define the dimensions of the views. Okay, which we did. I thought we did that with anchor constraint equals. Oh, dot activate. I didn't see this property come up. That should have come up. I mean, this is Objective-C, but still. Does he have Swift? No. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, good. Okay, so he creates an image view, a text label. Then he has his stack view. Then he adds add arrange subview, which is what we're using. Oh, look at this. No, we did use that. Then add the stack view. Constraint, stack view. So they add constraints to the stack view. They added constraints to the controls in the stack view. Do you think that could be the problem right there? Our stack view can't have auto resizing constraints. All right. Let's try it one more time. I'm going to do this in a step-by-step manner though. Okay, let's remove the, okay, if there are images, profile stock view dot auto, here we go, translate auto resizing constraints equals false. And let's just see what our images look like inside the stack view when we do this. You know, we want to make sure they're not stressed out, right, like they were before. All right, that looks good. There's just one thing we need to, when we want this border to cut off the rest of the image. So we want to mask that on the image here. Image view. Clips to bounds. There's two ways you can do this. You can do clips to bounds equals true, and that does it on the view level, or you can also clip it on the layer level by doing this. Dot layer, and except it's not called clip to bounds, it's called mask to bounds, like that. And if you set that to true, basically doing this, these two things are kind of equivalent. But this is just on the layer level, because a view can have multiple layers, and so you might want to mask to bounds on just one of the layers. But if you have multiple layers and you want to clip all of them, then you just use clip to bounds equals true. So I'm going to delete this because they'll basically be equivalent. Let's just run again, make sure everything looks good. Yeah, okay, that looks good. That looks perfect. Now what we want to do is we want to get it back into its original position, right? So I think let's try this. Let's take that stack view and let's give it constraints, just like we had it before. So we will, no, I have the wrong one selected. I don't have this stack view selected. There we go. There we go, 90. As I was wondering why it was 0, I'm like, this should be 0. And we'll set this one, and we'll set the height. So we'll set those back to the way they were. And now that our images have a height and width constraint, I'm hoping they'll show up now. Pray to the programming gods that this will work. Yes, okay, nice. All right, guys, it's working finally. Okay, good, that is done. Now let's delete, what I'm going to do is delete this image because we don't need that anymore. And let's just run it again just to make sure everything is working fine. Oh, there's something, looks like we're missing something. See how this is red? That means that there's a constraint missing. Okay, good. Perfect, guys. Ah, whew. Glad we didn't give up. Let's see what's missing here. I have no idea why these are, I don't even have these files. But what is this problem right here? Needs a constraint. All right, why don't you suggest one for me? What do I have here? I have the height. I have it at the bottom. No, I don't want that constraint. Because you see what it did? Let me just undo. What it did is it added a constraint right here. And what that's going to do is it won't allow the stack view to expand anymore. So I don't know what to do in this case because I want it to be able to expand outward to the right. And if I put a constraint there, it won't allow it to expand outward. Like here, let me just show you real quick. Let's add that. And if we run it, yeah, see, it only allows one. So let's stop that. Let me undo that. And let me actually check something else. I'm growing a suspicion here. No, it's the height that I set, yeah. We're just gonna have to let this one go, guys. If you know of a way that something that we should have had in there, then let me know. But oh, I got an idea. We can put this in here, but I'm going to change it instead. I need it to be able to grow. Look, I'm just going to leave this like this for now. I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix this. I guess we could look it up, right? Let's see. Than or equal constraint on storyboard. Yeah, this is what I want right here. Set the proportional constraint in the super view. All right. Guess I should have done that in the first place. Okay, so let's go back, have it added again. And then let's edit that, double click it. Yes. Oh my God, it's so easy. Why didn't I just look it up? Greater than or equal to 20. No, less than or equal to. No, greater than. Yeah, it can be greater than, but it can't be any less than 20. So it'll stop right here. And let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to delete it, and we're going to animate this table view. Okay, good, that works. All right, it still doesn't, it still give me, it's still red. Why is it red? Inequality. Oh, you know what? Oh man, you just can't satisfy these guys. Add more constraints. I'm not going to add more constraints. We already spent too much time on this. So now what I'm going to do is animation. Okay, so to animate this, let's go back into our view controller. Now, here's kind of like the concept that we're going to do. When you reload the table view, when we get data and we reload it, what we're going to do is we're going to offset these cells. And this is kind of something that I learned, especially from Brian Advent. I watched one of his videos and it gave me a clue as to like what's happening. Basically, the cells know, these table view cells know where they're supposed to go. They have their like destination already pre-programmed of where they're supposed to go inside the table view. But what you can do is you can offset them. You can change their positions to somewhere else and then animate them back to where they're supposed to go. Now, I don't remember the code offhand, but I think we can get partway there and figure it out, or else I can just open up a project where I used it and we can go from there. So what we need is a function that we're going to call after we do a reload table view or reload data. So right here, so after we reload the data, I want to call a function called Animate UITableViewCells. Okay, so let's create this function. Just copy that. And I'll put it down here with the rest of the functions. Okay, function. Like that. And the way you can find out which table view cells, the way you can get all the table view cells that are visible is there's actually a property for it. So I can say, let's see, let cells equal table view dot visible cells. Okay, so now there's all the cells that I know are going to be showing in the table view. You know, of course, we only have 3, but there could be 300, right? But we're only going to animate the ones that the user can see. So once I get those, I want to offset them. So let's do a for loop here for cell in cells. Again, I'm going to use this CGFine transform, except I'm going to use a translation to move them off to the right. So cell.transform, transform equals CGFine transform, translate, and how far off? Well, just enough so you can't see it. So I'll do the width of my view. View.frame.width. Right there. And we're not going to move it up or down, so I'll just keep that as 0. All right, now after, let's create some more room for ourselves. So now that they're all gone, now what I want to do is I want to animate them. So I need another for loop. So I'm going to animate each cell individually. And yeah, UI view. Let me look at the animation one more time. Get a better idea of what's happening here. Okay, do you see them bounce? Yeah, they do bounce. All right, so that's a spring animation. Right here. Okay, let's start with 0.3, and then we can change it from there. For the delay. Okay, see, I need a different delay for each cell because I want them to animate individually. If I don't change this delay, then they'll all come in at the same time for all the cells. So let's create a variable. Just call it delay. And let's stick it up here. Let delay. No, it has to be a variable because we're going to change it. Delay equals. And at first, it'll just be, well, let's make it half, 0.3. Okay. And then we'll be changing that after. Okay, so for the spring with damping, if it's a 1, there's no spring at all. It totally dampens out the spring. This doesn't look like it has a lot of spring, so let's try 7. Velocity we'll keep at 0. Yeah, options. No options right now. Okay, and then how do we want to animate it? Well, all we're going to do is remove the transform, and it will go back to its destination place where it should be, and it knows where it should be. So I'm just going to animate the removal of the transform by setting it back to identity, which is its default value. What should happen after the animation is complete? Nothing. But we're in a loop, and so what I want to do is I want to add to that delay. So I'll say delay plus equals, and maybe just add another 0.3. We'll see how that works. Yeah, okay. I want to give it a little bit more delay up front because this first one kind of animated on pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 0.5 here, so it waits half a second, and then I'll add another just a millisecond here, make it 0.4. Actually, you know what? When we first come in, do we delay the top part? Let's see. Yeah, right here. So we delay it 0.5 seconds. Yeah, okay, that's good. So we'll delay this 0.5 seconds as well. All right, let's try that. Yeah, okay, good. So something, I don't know, something didn't look right there. Let me look at the prototype again. Closes. Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster, right? So we can speed that up. And for the delay, I don't need so much delay in between. If this is only 0.2, yeah, let's do this. I'll start having the next one start to come in when this one is halfway through. Maybe, all right, sorry, I'm really picky about this. Let's do 0.15. So when this one is almost done animating, the next one will start. Yeah, that looks better. I kind of want, I want to keep seeing it just to make sure it's right. Okay, let's get rid of that delete me program. Yeah, let's just run this secret project again. Come on, get up out of there. Yeah, that looks good. It's pretty fast. All right, good. Guys, I think we have everything that we need here. I showed you how to set up your model, showed you how to populate the table and lay out the different prototype cells. We also learned how we could use the stack view to dynamically change the vertical alignment of labels. So basically we use the stack view to, by removing a label or hiding a label, it adjusted the vertical position of this label to center it. Then we also created another prototype cell where we dynamically added images to that stack view that we needed. We ran into some trouble there, and that took some figuring out. And that's real life right there. Guys, that's me researching, finding things. It does take me a while. But the next time I come to this problem, you can imagine it's going to be a lot faster. Well, I hope so. But I have this project now, so I can reference this project as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this live coding session. And I hope it wasn't too boring watching me go through these problems. But I hope you learned a lot along the way. Finally get an idea of how I work and how I build things real time. So I really hope it helped out. If you like this video series, give it a thumbs up. If you can offer any suggestions too, was this helpful or not? Would you prefer to see me just teach you things and not go through problems or have to fix problems? I want to hear those too, because, if I make courses in the future, is this a waste of time going through problems and fixing them, showing you how I debug things? Or is it not a waste of time? Did you learn a lot from it? So please let me know. This is the first one, so I want to just know how I can better serve you guys and teach you guys in the future. All right, guys, thank you very much, and thank you for watching.